The Canadian Canoe Museum is a museum dedicated to preserving and sharing the culture and history of the canoe. Located in Peterborough, Ontario, the museum's clean, modern, and accessible facility has a gift shop with a little for everyone, including clothing, jewelry, books, artwork, toys, decoration, and knickknacks. The museum holds the largest collection of its kind with more than 600 canoes and kayaks, as well as over 1,000 related artifacts. Visitors to the museum will discover an almost overwhelming number of exhibits that offer fantastic examples of how important the canoe is to Canadian culture, such as the 3 canoes donated by Prince Andrew, which were originally gifted to the royal family between 1947 and 1981. Other notable exhibits include Pierre Trudeau's famous buckskin jacket and birch bark canoe on public display for the first time, along with the personal artifacts of other significant paddlers, including a fabulous exhibit dedicated to Bill Mason that includes his famous red cedar canvas prospector canoe.
The canoe means so many things to different people here. There's not one experience coming to see this building. With 120 canoes on display, another 500 in storage, it's so many things to so many different people. And I know that people come here, as we were saying, sometimes they'll come in and you know they're thinking, like, a canoe museum, really? Do we need one? And at the end of their time here, for the most part, they've been moved. Something in here has resonated with them, and it might be something from their past, or it might be. Sometimes it's like that notion of north, that we're just glad it's here, and I think they find that when they come here, and it's a very uplifting, it's a very moving experience for them. I know that a lot of people have come here and they almost race back to their own boats and start planning a trip, or they start restoring their boat, or they plan to take a workshop, or they just can't wait to do something. Something has been excited in them.
I was incredibly lucky. Jeremy Ward, the curator at the museum, took me on a private tour of the museum's collection, not currently on display. Carefully housed in an adjacent building, the collection included an amazing assortment of canoes from around the world.
Africa is Wistoda, that's from Senegal. Indonesia, green and yellow. Samoa above it, down in Oceania. Long black one has a crocodile head, that's from Papua New Guinea. I don't know if you can see the very curved rocker hull below it, clearly from Thailand. That's a clong boat from the floating markets in Thailand. To the right of that, big long mahogany dugout, that's from the Philippines. I don't know if you can see the gray and yellow past that one, that's a Hawaiian where we've removed the outrigger for storage, but that'd be an outrigger canoe. So on and so forth, takes you right around the world. One of them is Guatemalan. It was found 500 miles offshore in the middle of the Pacific. You name it. So this is an international portrait then of people. Canoe would be humanity's vessel. It would be, it's a universal tradition, a universal response to how, of course, engaging with your landscape. In Canada, I think we see ourselves as custodians of a very profound heritage, a very profound relationship in our heritage with canoes. I know if you go to some islands off of Panama, newborns, when they're presented in the community by the midwives, are presented in a small dugout canoe. Their lives traditionally were spent farming and bringing produce to market in dugout canoes. when you died, you were laid out in a dugout canoe. I mean, my goodness, that's a fairly profound relationship with the craft as well. So it's something we share around the world. What Canadians' relationship with these boats then is uniquely Canadian, but it's not unique on the planet. And I think that's a really important thing. I find that very exciting. I find that it's not disappointing to me at all. That really contextualizes our own experience of these boats, but also with our landscape. And it's something that we as Canadians could serve to learn a lot more about.
It's easy to get lost in the stories contained within the displays at the Canadian Canoe Museum. And as I explore on my own, it becomes more evident that the Canadian Canoe Museum is not only a museum, but also an art gallery, as each display showcases not only the function of a seemingly endless number of watercraft, but also the artistic form and expression included by the builder of the craft.
Canoe culture has always been very hands-on, and so it's always given us a lot of opportunity for people to engage with this collection physically and canoe culture physically, whether they're actually making model canoes for the very small, doing cardboard cutout canoes of canoes that are on display, so they're actually seeing how these boats come together out of cardboard right in the galleries. We teach workshops year-round at the Canoe Museum, making canoe paddles, canoe restoration courses, build a wanigan, make a canoe pack basket, all kinds of hands-on skills tied into the narrative of canoeing in Canada. There's boats that you can assemble here in the gallery. There's skits, there's programming. We've got very hands-on interactive or experiential education program for school programs as well. See about 6,000 kids a year. So it's a very dynamic place. The best part, I think, is also a lot of the school programs can sleep over in the museum. And you imagine being 12 years old and actually sleeping under a Voyageur canoe in a museum overnight, doing making bannock and jam at night and doing storytelling. What a magic experience for them as well. So the Canoe Museum, right now what we're doing is providing a very interactive experience here in gallery. But I would also want our viewers to stay tuned, because the Canoe Museum has grand plans to move, and to, rather than bring the water to the collection, we're going to take our collection to water. And I would hope in the next 10 years' time you might see the Canadian Canoe Museum waterfront, people getting their canoeing certifications out front, a canoe club or a sprint canoe race going on as well, the public getting out. You might take a 1890s Sunnyside cruiser out for a spin on the water. There might be lots of opportunity for us to make this more tangible, more real. So we were chatting earlier about how the canoe means something very different to everybody who's been touched by this. Whether it's tripping in a wooden boat, whether it's going as fast as you possibly can, whether it's recreating memories from your youth, whether it's exploring new parts of the country, whether it's a more ecological way of travel on this landscape. There's something in this Canoe Museum for everybody. This is a national treasure, it's a national portrait, and I would love for everybody at some point in their life to come here and to discover a little bit of themselves right here in the galleries.